Welcome to the Seahawkers podcast with your hosts, Adam Emmert.
So get out your jungle juice, put on a toga, because it's a bro party. It's Bro Party Sunday.
And Brandan Schultz.
I think that's what threw a lot of the 49ers players off guard, is that it was late in the game and they heard cheering.
Go Hawks!
On a quest to own the West, yippee-ki-yay, we make the ground shake. On game day, 12 man, yeah, he's feeling it, he's vital. The Seahawks coming to take division titles.
Welcome to episode 181 of the Seahawkers podcast. I'm Brandan Schultz of the Military Seahawkers. Joining me, my good buddy, Montana Seahawker Adam Emmert.
181, that's crazy. The other crazy thing? We've done, 181 of these. Yeah. The majority of these come after a win like this one. Like 8 in a row against the 49ers. 9 in a row? 42 in a row? Something like that?
Yeah.
Suck it, Niners. Another loss.
Yeah, it still feels good. I mean, I know they're only a one-win team.
Don't care.
I will take a win over the Niners just about any time, just like I'll take a win over the Cardinals and definitely wins over the Rams.
Yes. Yeah,
anytime it's a divisional win, it's good. It's especially good.
Absolutely. My sports hate for those other teams is growing dramatically over the last decade. That's for sure.
And it's declined a little bit for the Niners.
No,
but it's still
not
there.
Really.
It's a little bit. After Harbaugh left, it declined a little bit.
Yeah, maybe so.
You can't lose Harbaugh and not have your sports hate decline.
That could be. Yeah, I did love to hate him. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know. And I guess Chip Kelly, maybe with the rivalry with Ducks fans and, Huskies and, the college rivalry. Maybe that was a little bit.
If you're into that sort of thing, maybe there was something there for you, but that's not on my radar.
I couldn't dislike Chip Kelly the same way I dislike Jim Harbaugh.
No, because he's dead on the inside.
Well, let's talk about things that we're going to like today.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner having another amazing game. Russell Wilson had a big day. Want to talk about his day against the Niners. Pete Carroll compared him to a famous boxer. I want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
And then we have the Eagles coming up.
Yeah.
They're a pretty good team, as it turns out.
Yeah, fairly balanced team.
Yeah.
They're a football team. It turns out they're mortal like everybody else.
They are mortal, but they do have, there's one thing about them, Adam, that I'm a little bit jealous of.
Their craptastic fight song that their fans sing?
No, that's not what I'm jealous of.
Okay, good, because that thing is atrocious.
And, of course, we'll get into some do better and better at life.
All right, man. So up first is this Niners game and some of the things that we liked, because there was definitely some things I didn't like in there, too. But let's start with things that we liked.
Let's start off with one thing that I liked. Russell Wilson, a big day for him. Some fun plays. He became the winningest quarterback in NFL history through his first 6 seasons with that win over the 49ers. Also became the fastest quarterback to 150 touchdowns and 3,000 rushing yards, which put him in some elite company, Adam.
Wow, really? Randall Cunningham, Steve Young.
Before you run down the list, there's only 8 players in the NFL to do it.
Really?
And you got 2 of them. Randall Cunningham.
Okay. Vic?
No, Vic did not have 150 touchdowns.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
he
that's
133 touchdown passes in his career.
Mark Brunell, is he in there?
No.
Fran Tarkenton.
He's number 1. And so in order of touchdown passes, I put Fran Tarkenton at number 1, 342 touchdown passes.
Okay. I'm out of guesses.
Okay. Randall Cunningham was number 5 on the list. John Elway, number 2, 300 touchdown passes. Had over 3,000 rushing yards.
It's a guy I didn't need to see on that list.
Yeah, I know. Donovan McNabb, 234 touchdown passes. He had over 3,000. You mentioned Steve Young. He's number 4 on the list, 232 touchdowns. Randall Cunningham, 207 touchdowns. Steve McNair, 174 touchdowns. And Cam Newton and Russell Wilson are tied with 150.
Interesting.
But Russell Wilson got there faster.
Well, and not only that, but Cam Newton leads him in boneheaded decisions by 1,000% too. Sure. So bad press conferences.
One thing that jumped out to me, though, Aaron Rodgers, he would be on this list if it were over 2,500 rushing yards. He's at 2,600 right now.
But he's so much better than Russell Wilson.
So much better.
So much better.
One thing that jumped out to me, though, looking down this list, is where these guys were drafted. Fran Tarkenton, the one that I mentioned, he was drafted in the 3rd round, but that's when there were like 14 teams.
Right.
And so he was actually drafted 29th overall in the league. John Elway, number 1 draft pick. Donovan McNabb, number 2 draft pick. Steve Young, number 1 draft pick. Randall Cunningham was a 2nd round guy, 37 overall. Steve McNair, the number 3 pick, and then Cam Newton, number 1.
Oh,
then
wow.
You got Russell Wilson, 3rd round, 75th pick.
That's our quarterback, man.
It's our quarterback.
He was doing Russell Wilson things all game long, that's for sure. Started out the game a little sloppy, though. That was
the very first pass, trying to get it to Jimmy Graham, and Reed picks it off.
Yeah, it was a very odd beginning to that game. Like the kickoff, first the ball blows off the tee, then the kickoff goes out of bounds, and then Russell Wilson throws a pick. It's like, what's going on here?
It sounded like there were some issues with the wind.
Yeah, it looked pretty gusty
very
at
apparent.
first. Yeah.
I guess you give him a pass. I don't know why if the wind's doing that, why you attempt a pass that's that far downfield. Like you kind of want to maybe get a feel for it first.
What does Russell Wilson do? Every time somebody tells him he can't do something.
Yeah, that's right.
So there you go. There's your explanation right there. But they did come out throwing the ball, no doubt about it, and we're able to move the ball a little bit early. But that first half, again, another slow start.
Some of it was issues with the offensive line. Some of it, I think they had more of an issue with drop passes in that first half.
Yeah.
The first drive, they had 3 drives in the first quarter. Russell threw the pick. The second drive was good, but there was a drop pass on 2nd down, which led to a field goal. He had to throw it away on 3rd down. Blair Walsh misses a field goal, but again, we've talked about the wind now. So it was kind of long. They ended up not attempting a 53-yarder on the following drive where they crossed midfield. False start. I think it was a false start by Posick, too. Posick had a rough day in this game.
Yeah, bad day for Posick. There was one play where he just ran right past the dude. Like, his defensive lineman just couldn't be bothered with him, runs right past him and goes up and blocks the linebacker for no reason.
I watched that play specifically to see where it was. I thought it might be Affetti's guy because Affetti and Vannett ended up blocking the same defensive end. And Posick, he looked like he was on a mission to block another dude. Like he didn't even pay attention to the guy that was in front of him, which led me to believe that maybe that was Affetti's guy. But maybe they weren't talking. I don't know. But that was,
it's not a good look either way. Let's put it that way.
When a defensive tackle has a free run at Russell Wilson, fortunately, he's able to get rid of the ball pretty quickly. But
it was clear that Posick was the guy struggling the most up front. It's a little scary going into next week,
and that's part of the reason why. I mean, Eddie Lacy didn't have a good day anyway, but when
has he had a good day?
Yeah,
God.
When Posick's 3 yards in the backfield on every single play, on every single running play. What was it? 42 of Lacy's 46 yards came out after contact.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about Lacy, at least Carroll's now seen what he can do when he has the majority of the carries in a game. And it looks a lot like what happens when he splits carries.
Yeah, not surprisingly. He still looks like he sucks. I'm stunned. I'm so glad we've been screwing around with this for 11 weeks now.
The positive thing though is I think Coach Carroll's seen enough now. Because
what gives you that indication?
Well, listening to him in the press conference, he's asked about Lacy, and he's like, "Well, we've got a sense of his style now through a full game." I mean, that's the most positive thing that he said.
Oh no, and he also said, "Well, he got in there and he really had some good 2 to 3 yards moving the pile."
Yeah, he tried real hard.
Great. So who knows? Maybe they've seen enough. I don't know why they couldn't have made this determination. I don't know, 5 weeks ago, but I mean, here we are. So hopefully you're right. Fingers crossed, because my man Thomas did not see the field, and honestly, once. No, he was out there for one play.
He watched the field most of the game. He did see the field.
I did see him once, and he was high-fiving one of the tight ends after a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I honestly have no words about that. I'm not going to say. So if you have anything to say about Thomas Rawls, we need you to say it, because I'm done. I've got no more words.
The thing is if we're not going to start Thomas Rawls, can we at least start J.D. McKissick? Because you had Eddie Lacy get 20 touches for 61 yards. You had McKissick get 8 touches and went for 46.
Yeah.
It's clear those plays where Eddie Lacy ran hard up the middle,
Yeah.
J.D. McKissic has just as much success because those are the plays where there were holes in the middle.
Yeah, that's very much the case. I mean, you're going to get nothing out of the run game going inside, but you have to do it to keep the defense honest. But at least then you have McKissic out there for when you do pitch it outside where he can actually turn the corner.
Yeah.
And that's the big difference right there. Or the apparently unstoppable 5-yard swing pass.
Yeah.
Like Russell probably hit that 4 times to McKissic.
I think that works almost better than the bubble screens because I think we saw Baldwin lose about 5 yards at least once in this game.
Oh, God. First drive, it was like bubble screen, a run by Lacy that went nowhere, another bubble screen. It was just like, are you kidding me?
Give me the swing pass. I'll take that one.
Yeah.
At least it's 5 yards outside. It's similar type play as far as how it works against the defense. I'll take it.
No screens though. Didn't see a screen in this game.
No. I don't know. Why?
Maybe they're saving it for weeks like the Eagles coming up, where I think you're really going to need that particular play. But yeah, I don't know. That could be the case there.
And maybe that is it. Maybe you don't break it out against the Niners when that's a play that you maybe don't need against the Niners. But I still don't know why we don't see it more. But one thing I was really happy to see, which led to our first touchdown pass, Bobby Wagner out there. He was incredible. And not only that, not only just did he have a big day blowing up other teams' screen passes, got an interception that led to the Seahawks' first touchdown.
Hyde empties the backfield as Beathard takes a shotgun snap, throws one near side. Ball is bobbled but caught at the 15. No, it's taken away by Bobby Wagner down to the 10, down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Is it a touchdown? It is. Touchdown Seahawks. Now the key is, was Wagner down on the ground or was he on top of the receiver? But this one, the Seahawks look to be able to do some more damage here as they have the ball 1st and 10 at the Niners' 16-yard line.
And the Seahawks did some damage because on the very next play, they give it on to McKissic on 1st down, and then they read option to McKissic, and Russell Wilson gets in the end zone.
The defensive end bit hard on the read option there. It's nice to see that they've decided that's a play that will run in the red zone. It's been effective. That's 2 weeks in a row Russell Wilson has scored that way.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see. Bobby Wagner, look, I know a lot of people are talking about Russell Wilson as a MVP candidate, but how are we not talking about Bobby Wagner as an MVP, not a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, an MVP candidate?
His year has been incredible. What he does to put pressure on a quarterback, what he does in the run game, what he does in the screen game, covering dudes over the middle. He's been having an elite year.
The coverage skills are outstanding. His tackling is amazing. He never misses a read. He's always in the right place at the right time. Getting everybody into position. Clearly the kind of the quarterback of that defense right now. And he's beyond elite. He is the best in the game by far. There really isn't a close runner-up. He is just
the reason why he doesn't
dominant.
get talked about is because he doesn't have double-digit sacks.
The reason he doesn't get talked about is he plays in South Alaska and nobody cares.
Yeah.
And everybody's buried this team, man.
That's true.
It's very true. That's one of the things. I have not been reading the national media a lot for the last 3-4 weeks. And I happened to read some of the power rankings and some stuff like that yesterday. And
oh, yeah, don't do that to yourself.
Well, I was just curious, all right, what's the narrative out there? Terms like the zombie Seahawks, they're like just barely hanging on and barely have a chance to make the playoffs. And, Chris Sims saying things like right now with Russell Wilson playing the way that he is, the offense doesn't stink quite as much as our defense. It's like,
what?
Wait, how does our defense stink? We lost some guys, but they're still playing well. Like, what are you watching? This is the same guy that thinks the Baltimore Ravens are an elite defense. So I don't know. He's a quarterback. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe that's why he's not in the league. He doesn't know how to read defenses. Maybe that's what the problem is. But I think that's one of the reasons that Wagner's not getting the attention is that, I don't know, everybody seems to think that they're not 7-4. They all seem to think that they're like 4-7. It's bizarre.
And I guess it's because they are currently outside the playoff picture because they did get the loss to Atlanta. Atlanta won this weekend, so they still have the tiebreaker. We're still one game back of the division, though.
Yeah, there's a million things.
We could be in a tie if the Rams did what they were supposed to do and lose to the
Catfish
Saints.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Thanks a lot. God, that was so frustrating.
Counting on Drew Brees.
I was counting on that running game. I don't know how they didn't run all over the Rams. That's crazy. But yeah, I really hope that the national media finally figures it out and figures out that Bobby Wagner is a stud and starts to get that kind of recognition, because he honestly, in defensive players never win MVP, even though it was 2-3 years ago where I was on the table for JJ Watt to be MVP, and he should have.
Yeah, and part of that, he had sack numbers, so I think he got consideration, but
yeah. It's just
Aaron Rodgers had big touchdown
Aaron Rodgers had, you know what Aaron Rodgers has? The designation QB next to his name. That's what he had.
Yeah. And that's often what does it.
It's going
to be Brady. It's going to be Wentz. Those are going to be the guys in the discussion this year. If Russell balls out for these games coming up against the Eagles and against the Rams.
Yep. In the Jacksonville. Yeah.
That'll give him consideration.
Yeah, that's basically where he's at in that conversation. If these next 3 games
will get it because he's led the Saints to so many wins this year.
Yeah, people put wins with MVP. It's just crazy too. I don't get that at all.
But Brees has he throws a lot of yards too.
Wonderful wins and yards, the most empty quarterback stats, man, and people get so into them.
Hey, I just got done saying that Russell Wilson's the winningest quarterback through 6 seasons.
How much did I comment on that after you were done?
You poo-pooed that last week too. So.
Yeah, because it's poo-pooable.
Well, the Seahawks only get 7 points through that first half. A lot of that just, they had plenty of opportunities in the second quarter where, although, they decide to give it to Lacy on 3rd and 3, and for some reason, that
didn't work.
It wouldn't have worked, but they also got called for an illegal shift, which I either don't know what to look for in a legal shift. I thought, 2 people in motion, but Baldwin was the only dude who was moving.
Yeah.
Either way, it wouldn't have worked. Posick was blown up in the backfield. Lacy wouldn't have got the first down. Fortunately, they get the turnover, which leads to the 7 points. They had another drive end where Lacy was shut down in the backfield after Posick was pushed back. I mentioned that we talked about the 2nd and 3 play that helped end a drive. And then toward the end of the half, Richardson had a drop, and then there was a pick play that wasn't a pick, and there was the missed face mask on Tyler Lockett. And so that was a disaster of a play.
Yeah. The refs had a tough game in this game. And it wasn't just
on our side, too. It was the play where Reed got called for a hit on a defenseless receiver on Vannett after Russell Wilson was outside of the pocket. And then there was the PI on Doug Baldwin, which...
Yeah,
I've seen
Baldwin.
I've seen Gronk do this too, where he actually pulls the defender into him to draw the penalty, and it's a pretty brilliant play if you can pull it off. But
nice pun, Brandan. Yeah, it is. If you can't pull it off, it is a nice play. I'd have been livid, angry if I was a 49ers fan at that point.
He should be.
Yeah,
but you have to give Baldwin a little credit for making it work.
Also, if I was a 49ers fan or any of our division rivals, a fan of those teams, I would probably go through, let's see, that would be I'd be 2 TVs a year, because every time I watched my team play Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, I would have thrown a remote through the TV watching him run around and escape out of tackles for no reason.
It was a fun Russell Wilson game to watch.
Yeah. That Sandlot stuff works, man. I know it's not conventional, and I know it doesn't feel sustainable, but he's done this for, 6 years now?
And
yeah,
as much as I ragged on Posick, he was pretty solid in the passing game. The whole offensive line was good enough in the passing game. A lot of those times when Russell Wilson was scrambling around, he had protection, and he was just moving outside the pocket to buy himself a little more time. There were plenty of times where I saw the pocket thingy on film multiple times.
I saw it a few times too. For the most of the time when there was a pocket thing, he stayed in there. You can only stay in it for so long. It's not a forever pocket thingy. It's like a couple seconds pocket thingy.
Right.
Just because you saw the pocket thingy doesn't mean it's a sustainable pocket thingy.
I mean, I understand that after a couple seconds, you feel like you need to get outside and get moving. But
yeah,
there were times where he did leave it early, but there were times where he hung in there, and they had their best drive to start the second half, and we saw Nick Vannett get into the end zone, his very first touchdown catch.
Play fake to Lacy on second down, laying it up over the top. Vannett, he's in! Touchdown! Seahawks! A beautiful play fake to Lacy that time. Everybody stopped except Nick Vannett, and he went out into the right side of the end zone, and Russell laid it up perfectly. 17 yards and a Seahawks score.
Vannett wide open on that play.
Yeah, he was wide open. And so, get out your jungle juice and, put on a toga because it's a bro party. It was bro party Sunday with all these touchdowns. Just Jimmy Graham and Vannett and all those guys down there just broing it up, doing their bro parties.
Yeah, unfortunately, Luke Wilson went out of the game with a concussion, so he couldn't be part of the party. But
yeah,
Vannett getting a touchdown. Jimmy Graham got a 1-yard touchdown. It was a big day for the tight ends.
It was. It was a bro party kind of day.
Yeah, Graham getting the touchdown after the Baldwin PI.
Correct. Yeah. On
and
the
I
slant.
use air quotes for PI. Yeah.
Because, they finally figured out how to use Jimmy Graham in the red zone. I think we've got it down now.
Instead of doing the fade, you cut inside,
right,
and throw a slant, and it works.
It's almost like there were some podcast hosts from Montana talking about this for weeks.
Jimmy Graham now the all-time. He now holds the Seahawks record for the most touchdown catches by a tight end.
He stinks. Get him off the team.
Get him off that bum.
I mean, if he did throw him off team, I don't know. I mean, that would be a real bummer to the bro party, though. I think Vannett and Wilson would really miss him.
You got to keep all the bros together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Bros before
catfish
for sure.
Where are the
catfish?
I don't know. That's why they're not around because they've all chosen their bros first.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know you're gonna want to cut that, Brandon, but I think the majority of the listeners will enjoy that. It's a phrase, and they've said that in the locker room at least 30,000 times. It's happened.
They've probably modified it in some way though.
Oh, probably.
So that's what bros do.
Yeah, dude. I'm pretty sure when you go into a tight ends meeting for the Seahawks, everybody's gotta talk like this, man. Yeah. Whoa, touchdown, Nick. Good job, bro. Your first one, yeah. Fist pump.
How much fun must that tight ends room be?
I would shoot myself in the head. Yeah,
that's not fun for you.
Oh God, no! It's so annoying.
Just think about the difference between Doug Baldwin in the wide receivers room,
right? Yeah,
and just the whole different feel between the wide receivers room and the tight ends room.
Yeah, you drop your pencil in the wide receivers room, and Doug Baldwin shoots you that stare like he's going to eat your heart. Right. You're just like, oh God, the intensity in there would be high, no doubt. Yeah,
although you do have Lockett, and he's probably just feel like he could relieve some of the tension.
Well, how? By being the squeaky clean choir boy that doesn't say anything, just sits there with his angelic smile?
Yeah, probably.
Hi, I'm Tyler. I'm here to catch touchdowns.
He almost got hit for a touchdown. What was that? Toward the end of the half, right?
Correct. It was just underthrown by Russell.
Yeah. Gosh.
It's there. The passing game is there. The offensive line can put it together well enough in pass protection for us to move the ball that way. I mean, we're the Detroit Lions now. We can't run the ball. It's all just passing, and only we have a better defense. That's who we are now. That's who we are. You got to embrace it and play to your strengths. And clearly running the ball isn't the strength, especially with Posick in there. The draft report on him was that he was, decent pass protection, but didn't have the strength to, really be an effective run blocker. And that is proven to bear out in his rookie season. Now, the good news is that going forward, his strength is one of the things that you can easily improve on.
Sure.
I mean, you just get together with Nick Vannett and Jimmy Graham over the offseason and
throw weights all summer.
Yeah, exactly. Just slap on plates, lift them up high.
We haven't talked a lot of Pro Football Focus this year, but I did want to see if the numbers kind of played out the same way we have in our minds, because we know this has been a relatively good passing team, but the run game has been not so great. And it's not because
Brandon. You sound like a teacher at a parent teachers conference, and this kid's getting straight D's, and you're like, well, it's not quite as good as it could be.
Yeah, I recognize that.
Your kid's stupid. He's getting D's. Just say it how it is.
Well, the offensive line is not even getting D's because based on their grades from Pro Football Focus, you run down the pass grades for the season. Dwayne Brown, 76, Jokel, 73, Britt, 84. Ibushi is 60, but he's not in there right now. I think Posic's probably about pretty similar. And Fetty at 73. Mm-hmm. But you look at the run grades, Dwayne Brown's the one guy in the 70s. He has 78. Jokel, 39. Britt, 55. Ibushi, 34. Fetty, 39. Yep. So it's dismal on the run blocking side. Which is
really weird, considering that Tom Cable's supposed strengths throughout his career was getting guys to run block, which it was. It's not supposed.
They can only do one. You can only coach one thing. You either coach the pass block or run block. I mean,
I didn't know.
You can't do both.
You're right. I'd never thought about it in those terms, but that's clearly what's going on here. Like he starts concentrating on the pass stuff, and all the run stuff goes to crap. And so he's like, "Oh man, now I got to go back." And then you can't pass protect. So what are you going to do?
I'll just live with it because this is we've been asking them to pass block for Wilson.
Right. I figured that they could still do the stuff they were doing before, though, at the same time.
No.
Curse me in my unrealistic expectations, that's for sure. You know who did live up to expectations, though, in this game for me? That defensive line. They were all over poor Beathard the entire game.
Oh, poor Beathard, too, man. He was on his back most of the day. End up going out to injury late in the game where
Handsome Jimmy came in. Yeah,
Handsome Jimmy.
I can't wait to beat the crap out of him for about 2-3 years.
That'd be okay. I'd be okay with that.
Well, it's gonna happen. Just I want to see Handsome Jimmy start to lead the league in cutlers. And cutlers is when the quarterback does or gets smashed up or does something bad, and he just hangs his head where his chin's all the way down to his chest. In the camera angle, like all you see is the top of his helmet. When you see the top of his helmet, that's a cutler.
That's a cutler.
Yeah, I want Jimmy Garoppolo to lead the league in cutlers over the next few years when he plays the Seahawks.
Yeah, he wouldn't take the grief though as Cutler. He's better looking, and he's also.
And I think he cares about some things. I think he gives a crap.
He looks like he cares.
I still think he could lead the league in cutlers when he plays us. That'd be fine.
You know, I saw people saying that was a low shot by Vannett when Beathard was taken down, but he took him down by the waist. Yeah,
I mean, it was in the lower body. I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's tough.
It looked awkward with the way that he tackled him, but he had his arms wrapped around his waist.
Yeah, I know. So Vannett broke the bubble wrap around the quarterback to get a sack. Oh my stars. I mean, 10 years.
I mean, the bad thing was that he was offsides again for the second time.
Well, there's that. The streak's alive and well. And well.
Yeah, he had two. The first one was really close. I had to slow it way down, but the crown of his helmet did come across just I mean, he timed it really well.
Yeah.
But not well enough.
He plays on the edge. What can I say?
Well, 49ers fans didn't seem to care. They were cheering when Garoppolo came on the field. Maybe a little bit too soon for the likes of some of the players.
Oh, is that what I didn't know that there were cheers to be had in that stadium. I didn't know that there was any noise other than Seahawks chants.
I think that's what threw a lot of the 49ers players off guard is that it was late in the game and they heard cheering. And it was because Garoppolo was coming on the field, but Beathard was still on the field. So it was kind of, I don't know. There were some people complaining that it wasn't the best look, but
alas, the Santa Clara 49ers take a loss. The Seahawks get the win. Even if it's a win you should have, it's still a win. It feels good.
It was a good game for the defensive line. It was also a good game for the linebackers. I thought Will Hoyt played real well, and we talked plenty about Bobby. KJ, a great game as well. And we saw the corners hang in there with Jeremy Lane and Byron Maxwell.
They came in there. They played their tails off. I think they're doing a serviceable job without Sherman. I really do. I think having Shaq back for the next game will make a big difference as well. And then I'm on pins and needles for Deshaun Shedd to come back. I mean, that's something that a lot of people don't think about. And it sounds like he's very close. Like he's starting to work out starting to run. Or no, not starting to run, but he's doing like kind of ramping it up, I think is what Pete Carroll said or along those lines.
Sounds like he should be ready to come back next week.
Right.
To actually practice.
Right. And then who knows from there? I mean, you might need to get some work in before you play, but I think that's a huge component going forward. Between him, Maxwell, Shaq, and Coleman, man, that's pretty good corners there.
They're talking about having to make a decision this week on what to do with Shaq.
Oh, as far as where he plays?
Right.
Oh, just put him in for Jeremy Lane. Just put him in for Jeremy Lane. Please put him in for Jeremy Lane. Can you put you in there for Jeremy Lane? That'd be great.
That would seem like the logical way to do it, right?
I would think so. I mean, he's a nice guy, and he tried hard, and he blew up his body for us in a Super Bowl. But it's like, it's just tough. That's where people go. That's the guy people pick on.
So do you have Maxwell stay on his right side, and you just have Shaq in the Sherman spot?
Yes.
Shaq hasn't been playing on that side, but
yeah, I know. But
I don't see why he can't.
But the kind of the idea is, right? I mean, if you want to go down this rabbit hole, the idea is someday you have to move on from Richard Sherman. And I think we're all kind of hoping that Shaq Griffin's that guy. So you might as well start him out there on the left side and get him some reps out there. I know that's a thought that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, but like it's something to think about.
It's a good off-season uncomfortable conversation to have.
You're not ready for it right now?
No. I'm not ready for that.
Not write me out.
I'm ready to talk Eagles.
Oh, okay. Fly, Eagles, fly.
I'm not ready to sing Eagles.
Yeah.
I'd go with the actual Eagles, like the band versus the team.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Maybe some Hotel California rather than Fly, Eagles, Fly.
All right. Yeah. Are you living it up in the Hotel California?
I'm living it up.
Okay.
I hope the Seahawks are living it up against the Eagles because, the Seahawks have not lost to the Eagles during Pete Carroll's time as head coach. They're on a 3-game winning streak.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, and Carson Wentz has yet to beat the Seahawks too.
Right. Well, that just last year was his only opportunity.
Dude,
but
you got to say things in a more convincing manner. Like, where's it? You don't work in PR, apparently.
Oh yeah. Carson Wentz can't beat the Seahawks.
Right.
He's good. They have his number.
Yeah. He is over in CenturyLink.
Sometimes it makes me hope that like somebody like an Eagles fan just clips out that Carson Wentz, can't beat the Seahawks and just like
runs with it, takes it out of context.
Yeah, runs with it. And yeah.
Why do you think I say 3/4 of the crap I say on the show?
You hope somebody takes it and runs with it.
Yeah. Takes it out of context and has fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
We should take more things in the news out of context.
I could definitely do that. It's not like nobody else is doing it.
Seahawks lead the series between these two teams 8-7. And the NFL loves matching up the Seahawks and Eagles in December. I was looking at the schedules. Mm-hmm. 9 of their 16 meetings in December. The other 4 times are in November, only 3 games in September. And they've never played a game in October. I don't know why it's Seahawks Eagles in December all the time.
I don't know why you would have ever looked into that in the first place.
Is that not even interesting enough to bring up?
Well, I guess it is. I wouldn't have. I can't imagine having my brain even go to that. Like
it jumped out at me. I'm looking. Why are all these games in December?
Where do you look where it shows you where the games are, like by month, like broken down like that?
It's not important.
That was some beautiful mind catfish right there.
It's barely even interesting.
Did you write that out on a grease pen with a grease pen on some windows?
You can't see it off camera here, but I do have my grease board with pencil and many lines drawn.
That's funny.
One thing that I did notice, though, looking at the Eagles game, I might be a closet Eagles fan.
Really?
And a big part of that is the way the way that the Eagles have started 7 out of their 11 games.
What about it? Expound, Brandan.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
The Eagles now, they're 10-1. They've had an incredible season. The only loss so far this year has been to the Chiefs, week 2 in Arrowhead, back when the Chiefs were good. Mm-hmm. But the thing that jumped out at me, and the reason why I say I might be a closet Eagles fan, is because they've gotten off to a quick start in 7 out of their 11 games. In week 1, they got out to a 13-0 lead. In week 3, they got out to a 14-0 lead. In week 4, 13-0. Week 5, 21-0. Week 6, they got out to a lead. It was only 3-0. But week 8, they got out to a 20-0 lead. And last week, 24-0. So this team, they start fast. They actually, they win games early by getting out quickly.
Blasphemy. You can't do that. I've been told you can't do that.
Coach Carroll says you can't win the game in the first quarter. But one thing that I like to do, and if you go to profootballreference.com, it has like the little chart of win probability for each of the teams based on how the game's going, how the game's expected to go. The Eagles, there's very few times in the fourth quarter where they've kind of faced some adversity. they've had some fourth quarter challenges here and there, but that's after week 6. They've essentially had the game won. Let's see, week 7, they had the game won by the middle of the third quarter. Week 8, they had the game won by the end of the second quarter. Week 9, they had the game won by the start of the first quarter, or the start of the second quarter. That Cowboys game, they blew them out in the second half. That was close at halftime. And then last week, I mean, they had the game won after going up 24-0.
They were actually down at halftime in that Dallas game. I think it was 9-7,
right?
Yeah. But just take a gander at their opponents, because everybody poo-poos the Seahawks in their record because they haven't played anybody. Tell me, how many teams in here do you think are somebody? Washington, KC, New York, Giants, Chargers when they stunk, Cardinals, Panthers, Washington again, San Francisco, Denver, Dallas, and Chicago.
Yeah, and the games that they lost or were close were the teams where I go, yeah, they're a pretty good team at the time.
Right. Exactly.
And the Chiefs, Panthers.
Chiefs, Panthers, those are the two that stick out at me. And I mean, even the Giants, maybe if you want to say they weren't the worst team ever at that point, even though they started out like 0-5, but I mean, they were supposedly better then.
Yeah, well, and Beckham was still playing.
I think so.
I think he was playing week 3.
No, they haven't really gone out and just, throwing haymakers and beat a bunch of world beaters. And they have struggled against teams that you shouldn't struggle against too. I mean, they eked out a win against the Chargers. I get that the Eagles are a good team, but they're mortal. The big bad Eagles are coming to town. Everybody, batten down the hatches, hide the women and children. We're all about to lose. This is a joke, because there are some things where we actually match up very well with this Eagles team.
Before we get there, let's talk about some of the things that they're good at. What are we hearing? We're hearing that Carson Wentz is having an MVP season. We're hearing about how dominant that defensive line is, and Fletcher Cox is going to be hard to stop. Zach Ertz having a great year for a tight end. I think he's ranked number 1 for tight ends this year.
Right.
The Eagles spread the football around. Ertz has 7 touchdown passes. Aguilar has 6 touchdown passes. Alshon Jeffrey has 6 touchdown passes through 11 games for the first time in franchise history. They've had 3 receivers with 6 or more passing touchdowns, and Aguilar actually catching passes is kind of a big deal for them. Running the ball really well. 175 plus yards in 3 consecutive games now. The first time they've done that since 1990. So it's a balanced team.
It's almost a balanced team. So really, when you really look at this team, everybody talks about, like, you went through the receivers and all those touchdowns, right? What an amazing passing team. They're 16th in the league in passing. That's a true fact. That's the middle of the pack. That's not,
because they're running the ball all the time. They don't have time to throw the ball all the time.
That's exactly my point. They're second in the league in rushing. When I go back and I watch a little bit of Eagles football, one of the things that stuck out to me big time is the idea that you got to stop the run. I mean, that's really where it all starts. This whole game to me comes down to this very, very thing. We have to stop the Eagles' rushing attack. Yeah. And the Seahawks are a good run defense team. Nobody's really run the ball on us with any sort of consistency this entire year. Early in the year, we gave up a couple big runs, like 1 a game here and there.
Right.
But for the most part, like, the running game has been shut down all year. I don't care who we faced. If you can do that to the Eagles, you make them one-dimensional, and then you get Carson Wentz, and that passing game is something that you're sitting on, I think you have the opportunity for picks. Because one of the things that I noticed going back and watching Carson Wentz is he's very much a first read thrower right now. He still will go through his progressions. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, he's like Kaepernick bad at that, where he would just totally lock on forever. But he is very much trusting the play design in his playmakers and getting the ball out of his hand super quickly. If you stop the run game and you're able to sit on those quick little breaking routes that they like to throw, you'll shut down the wide receiver core. The biggest thing that you really have to worry about is Zach Ertz. We have figured out how to cover tight ends. I don't know if we've talked about this, but we have Bobby Wagner. I like that matchup.
You like that.
I like that matchup a lot.
And Bradley McDougall is playing well, too, in Cam Chancellor's absence.
Absolutely. Or they were wondering, what are they going to do with Shaq when he comes back? Okay, keep Lane out there. Boy, I wouldn't mind seeing Shaq out there on Zach Ertz in passing situations. He has the size to take care of that. He can do that. there are some matchups here that the Seahawks can really take advantage of, but it all starts when you're talking about the Eagles offense, shutting down the running game, Jay Ajayi and LeGarrette Blount. And again, those aren't super quick, shifty guys. Those are power runners, and we've always shut down power runners. Always. We have the ability to do that. With our defensive tackle trio that's going right now, Richardson, Nas, and Jaron Reed.
Yeah.
That's tough to run on, man. Good luck with that. I think we have an excellent opportunity to shut down the running game. Get him into passing situations. Let the crowd get noisy. Have Wentz do his one read BS. Pick off a couple balls, and you win this game. And you shove it down the throat of the national media.
Picking off the Eagles would be nice, because one of the things that was clear to me going back and look at how they've played other teams, the Eagles have started fast, but the thing that I've seen and looking back and kind of one of the keys to beating Eagles, don't turn over the football. The Eagles have not won a game when their defense gets 0 turnovers.
And specifically, don't fumble the football. They're 10th in the league when it comes to fumbles, creating forced fumbles, but they're only 28th in the league when it comes to interceptions. So that really, again, that speaks, I think, to an advantage that we have if we're looking at the other matchup.
Probably speaks to how strong they have been, with their front seven.
Well, if you have an amazing
front four.
If you have an amazing front four and you're getting after the quarterback, that should force mistakes. That should force a lot of picks. I'm not saying the front four isn't good; it's great, but
I mean causing fumbles as well.
Right.
But the thing is that they've gotten a lot of turnovers this year. That defense has. Don't turn the ball over. Don't give them extra opportunities.
Yeah, no, you can't do that, because they have solid players all across the board when it comes to their defense.
Don't give them short fields.
Don't make it easy on Carson Wentz and company. Now, the other thing about this Eagles defense, they are number 1 in stopping the run. Well, sweet. We don't run the ball anyway.
Let them do that.
Fine. Take away what we don't do good. Fantastic. And
part of the reason why they're number 1 in stopping the run is because of these quick leads that they get out to. When you're up 2-3 touchdowns in 7 of your 11 games,
right?
Teams aren't going to run the ball down 14-0, down 20-0, down 24-0, like they were up on the Bears. When you're down 24-0, you're passing the football.
Yeah, and
which is why their defense has been. I mean, they have a solid secondary, right? I mean, the Malcolm Jenkins,
they're decent. They're 16th in the league in pass defense.
Right,
so
but that's
mediocre.
Part of the reason why is because everybody has to pass, because they're in the situation of having to pass to try and keep up with them.
All I'm getting at is that they're a middling team in pass defense, a great run defense team. We don't run the ball anyways, and we're a good passing team. So at least our strength goes against their weaker side of their defensive scheme. And I think that's something that bodes well for us going forward. And especially that, good luck game planning for scribble plays. I call them scribble plays now, where you just scribble the circles in the playbook.
Drawing the circles.
Just drawing the circles. Yeah, good luck preparing for scribble plays.
Those have been some of our best plays.
They're the only plays.
Well, I am excited to see some of those scribble plays in this game against the Eagles. We have them at home. It's in prime time. We did lose to the Falcons in prime time.
Yeah, but
we wouldn't lose back-to-back prime time games, though.
We shouldn't have lost that Falcons game, man. That was a dumb loss, man.
This game's going to be another close game, though. It's going to come down to the very end. Russell Wilson's going to struggle through the first half, maybe get some points, and then put together a good second half.
It's almost like you've seen this script before.
We see it every single week. It's not hard to predict when that's how it goes.
You're
every
not feeling
single
clairvoyant
week.
With that? No?
No.
Okay. It's going to be a close game. I like the idea that the Eagles have been blowing out a bunch of teams and so haven't been tested in a lot of close games, whereas this is what we do. That's how the Seahawks play. When it comes to money time, I really like the idea of putting the ball in Russell Wilson's hand and say, go get it, because he usually does. I don't know that you can say that about Carson Wentz on the road in his second year with all the hype.
Yeah, really, apart from a couple early games, that one against the Giants, the one against KC. Who did they play in week 4? Oh, week 4 was the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
Then the Chargers actually came back.
Yeah, if you want to talk about the weeks, this is the time, week 12, that you usually see the Seahawks start to put together their strong finish to the season, where they start beating the big bad boys on the blocks, and people start going, oh, wow, well, look at this. The Seahawks came out of nowhere. They finally put it all together. This is when they start to do it. This is one of those games I'm looking at as kind of a marker to see if this team is going to have one of those strong finishes like all the teams in the Pete Carroll era really have.
Well, Holly Stringer posted it on the Facebook page earlier this week. 2012 started 6-4. Finished and finished the last 6 games 5-1. 2013 started 9-1. That's the 1 year, the Super Bowl season, where they they started the season stronger than they finished, because they lost 2 games down the stretch, but still 4-2 down the stretch. 6-4 in 2014, finished 12-4, went to the Super Bowl, had the number 1 seed. 2015 they started 5-5, but then they finished another 5-1 run down the stretch. Finished 10-6, and then last year started 7-3-1 and finished 11-5-1. So they won 4-1 down that stretch.
So we're getting the Eagles at the time of year when we'd want them. This is the time of year when we start to put it together. It's a hostile environment. It's hard flying all the way to South Alaska.
Well, hey, that one team that they've struggled the most against was on the West Coast against the Chargers, where they only won by 2 points.
There you go.
That was their longest trip so far.
There you go. The Chargers, a more of a passing team than a running team.
Yes.
Able to put up points.
And they don't really play defense as well as the Seahawks either. Although they have a good pass rush.
They've started to put it together, but then they weren't. They were abysmal. Yeah. They were still adjusting to Gus Bradley's scheme.
Bobby Wagner with his next tackle, he's going to be number 4 on the all-time list for Seahawks for tacklers.
Holy smokes.
He's tied with Chad Brown right now. He'll take over that number 1 spot.
He could very well retire with that number 1 spot.
Or a number 4 spot.
I know it's number 4 now.
But he will. He's going to keep it up. He's going to retire with the number 1 spot.
I think that's fairly likely.
Well, he's going to pass Joe Nash by the end of the season, too.
Yeah, the Eagles will get a big taste of Bobby Wagner. They'll get a big taste of the 12s. And when they lose, I'll be looking at all y'all going, bye, Eagles, bye. See ya.
Well, if you want to go to the game, seahawkerspodcast.com/tickets. Tickets a little pricey for this game, obviously, with the Eagles coming into town, being a Sunday night game. But this would be a good game to be at.
It would be a good game to be at. And if you do that, we get a little kickback to the show. It's nice.
Yeah, 12% comes back to the show. seahawkerspodcast.com/tickets. This week's 3 in, 3 out delves into the touchy-feely side of our 2017 Seahawks. Which players formed the boy band, New Kids on the Flock? And which player needs to learn how to block? You might be surprised by this week's episode, and that's why you've got to check it out at seahawkerspodcast.com/3i30. The Seahawkers Booster Club is the official booster club of the Seattle Seahawks. Go to seahawkers.org. Check out all the places where you can go and hang out with your fellow 12s, whether it's in the Seattle area or around the country, even internationally.
Yeah, everywhere. Because the 12s virus has spread worldwide. It is now an epidemic, and I think it's a good one.
It's a good one. So check it out, seahawkers.org. Getting into the second half of the show, some injury updates. Adam, you mentioned Deshaun Shedd could be practicing next week. Chris Carson could be returning in the coming weeks. Sounds like Malik McDowell definitely won't be playing this season. That was something we heard this last week.
Yeah, nobody's stunned on that one.
Where's Mike Davis at? Is he coming back from his groin issue this week?
He's got a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, they got to see what kind of work he puts in on Wednesday, I guess.
When are we going to see the newly signed Willie Beavers on the team?
I don't think we'll be seeing Big Willie Beavers anytime soon. Offensive lineman signed to the practice squad. I saw that tweet from Curtis Crabtree letting us know that.
You know the Seahawks are desperate when they're just making up names of people to sign to the practice squad for the offensive line. We need to sign an offensive lineman. How about Willie Beavers?
He's got an excellent shot to be a star in porn. Yeah, because some people just have porn names, right. Yeah, and he has one. Okay,
you can make up your name. Like, you don't actually have to have a name for it.
I know, but some people
it's
are
not
just
like a weatherman. I mean, if your name is Stormy, like, you're going to be a weatherman,
right? But
person.
You can sometimes you're just blessed with a porn name, like out of the gate.
I don't know. I don't know if I consider that blessed, but
I don't know. I mean, at least you have a direction in life, like. You know what you're destined to do out of the gate.
like Paige Turner. Like, you know what you're going to be.
Right. A chef. No?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Well, another big announcement this week. Jacksonville game moved to 4 p.m. Eastern, so no 10 a.m. games this year.
What kind of poll do we have at the league office now? Like, what's going on here?
I don't know, but
yeah,
it just cracks me up that Bruce Arians is probably stewing in his office when he saw that. And because he's been on the train about getting rid of 10 a.m. starts.
Oh, gosh. Of course he has. What other thing to whine about? Of course Bruce Arians has been on that train. I'm convinced that there's a flocker out there sleeping with the schedule maker now. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Ooh, that's well done by them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, I needed to happen finally.
Yeah, it's helping our deal.
A couple show announcements, Adam. We're now in Spotify. So if you search for Seahawks or Seahawkers podcast in the Spotify app, you can find us there.
Yeah, super
nice
cool. Yeah, we've been waiting on that for a while. I did not do the Spotify because I tried it once and it logged me in like through, I don't know, Facebook or something. But so the first thing that like auto plays, like when I pulled up the app, was Taylor Swift. And I get a message within 30 seconds and I'm trying to turn it off. I'm like, how do I just want to do something. And I get a message like in 30 seconds from our buddy Fred on Facebook. Hey, listening to some Tay, huh? I was like, Spotify's not for me. I deleted it.
So not only did it just log you in through Facebook, it also told all your friends what you're listening to.
Yes.
After auto playing
Taylor Swift.
Auto suggestion of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Spotify.
Well, welcome to all the Taylor Swift fans that are listening to us on Spotify now.
Yeah, right. Who knows? We could pick up a lot of listeners that like, if they force feed their users that way.
Yeah, how do we get the autoplay thing going?
I don't know. I deleted it after that. I didn't want to know anymore. Like,
no.
Who knew what was going to come up there next that I couldn't live down?
I think Taylor Swift probably has a significantly deeper pocketbook to be able to make that happen for Taylor Swift songs than we do for our podcast.
True fact.
I mean, we're doing okay. We have a new member of the flock.
Yes.
We have a new affiliate. You can go to seahawkerspodcast.com/StubHub now to get your tickets through StubHub. 7% gets kicked back to the show. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's super cool. So
I'm all about people having options and getting the cheapest option of what's out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. We want you to go to the games, you know.
But welcome to the flock this week. And this is a familiar name, but it was a common enough name that I wanted to give Andrew Carson a shout out and a welcome to the flock. He's in for stickers and bonus shows. I know we had an Andrew Carson at one point, and so maybe he's just back.
Maybe he is just back. Well, either welcome you little flocker or welcome back you little flocker. Where have you been?
Right. And that's it. Short list this week.
That's fine. That's cool. I looked it up. I think we're we're in the mid 150s for flockers. We keep saying that when we get to 200, we'll do post game recaps. I mean, if you can't get enough, get in the flock.
Getintheflock.com. And yes, at about 255 right now, once we get to that magic number of 300.
Oh, 300.
We do.
See, I don't even know what our goals are.
It's 300, as in, the 300, like.
Yeah, this is Sparta.
This is Sparta.
This is Seattle. Doesn't have the same ring.
This is Flocktopia.
Ooh, Flocktopia. Wow. I think people have hoverboards in Flocktopia, don't they?
Heck yes, they do. I mean, you're handed one at the door.
I figured.
Got an email this week from Jeremy in Vancouver. Says, guys, I thought I would drop you another line with some of my own thoughts over the recent events. Let's start with the Cardinals game. I felt devastated when Sherman went down with the injury, but I felt a sense of hope that Russell would put the team on his back. And that is when Russell Wilson went magic mode, slowed down time, and destroyed the will of the Cardinals by unleashing Doug Rocketman Baldwin. Now onto the Falcons. After the Falcons game, my depression was replaced with optimism. I feel that the defense played very well and will grow, mature, and will soon be clicking even more. Also, even looking onto the 2018 season, I think this sets up very well if John is able to keep working magic and keep most of these free agents. And if he doesn't, we will have a bunch of compensatory picks. Just imagine how strong can be next year once our rookies and backups have a half year of starting experience being coached by Sherman and Chancellor. Questions for you guys. On the last episode, you mentioned Colin Cowherd's channel. I'm always looking for new content. What podcast do you guys listen to or recommend? Why don't we start with that one? And
Okay.
And then we'll go to his next question.
Yeah. As far as the podcast go, to be honest, I don't listen to many at all. If like every so often, I'll listen to the Around the NFL guys. Them. I guess I'll listen to Bill Simmons, the BS report, when he's doing the picking the lines with Cousin Sal. That's probably the one that I listen to with the most regularity.
We try and stay away from most sports podcasts because I think we've gotten to where we don't want to be. After we record the show, that's usually when I listen to some of the other ones.
Exactly. I never do it before. I don't want our thoughts to be, the same as everybody else's.
Right. So the ones that I listen to the most, the Pete Carroll Show, there's a podcast that's just the Pete Carroll interviews that he does on 710 with the ESPN stations there. I like to listen to John Clayton. There's a Cold Hard Facts podcast. So just when John Clayton's appearances to try and keep up many of the news that he's been talking about. And, I checked out Russell Wilson's latest podcast this week.
Apparently he has one. Yeah, this was news to me. Yeah.
It is a great podcast to fall asleep to.
Yeah, it's called Danger Talk. And I think somebody in the Ring of Honor had written that they hoped it wasn't just, 20 minutes of him talking like he does at the podium.
And it's not.
I don't know. I heard from a reliable source. He talked about, what did he talk about? He talked about how much he loves Ciara, how much he misses his dad, and how much he loves Jesus.
Oh, those are the three people that if he could invite to dinner.
Ciara, his dad, and Jesus?
Yeah.
Oh.
That'd be an awesome dinner party, really.
It depends on what kind of dinner guest that Jesus is. You don't know. He could be kind of a catfish about things. You don't know. You come out and you bring something nice for the dinner, and he's like, "Oh, that's not what I wanted." And then he just turns like water into wine. He's like, "There you go."
No, don't bring wine to the dinner party with Jesus.
Yeah, he's got that covered, right?
He's got that covered.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper.
And he's probably snooty about what kind of his wine preference too.
I'm sure he is.
Like, really?
I'm sure
he
is.
Really? You brought the cheap stuff?
I hate Pinot.
Right.
He gets all mad. Crosses his arms and fluffs his robe up a little bit.
I doubt Jesus says that he hates anything.
Yeah, he probably is like you. Instead of saying something's bad, he's like, "Yeah, it's really not the best." You and Jesus, just alike.
Just in that way, anyway.
Nope, same guy. You and Jesus.
Oh, what were we talking about? Podcasts? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, the reason why I said it's a good one to sleep, just because Russell Wilson's just kind of calm and cool, and so it's very I don't know, it's relaxing to listen to.
It's like listening to the ocean. Is that what it's like to listen to Russell Wilson's podcast?
That's exactly what it is.
Who knew?
You know what? I should probably put this on for my girls at bedtime. Like, here's Russell Wilson.
There you go. There you go. That's not a bad thing right there. Yeah. And then you'd be programming them for the type of man that they should look for when they get older too at the same time.
Exactly.
In their sleep.
Exactly.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. That's solid parenting right there, Brandon. Parenting A.
If you want another sports podcast that I like, View from the Cheap Seats with the Sklar brothers.
Yep. Those two are funny guys.
They had Damashek on recently. I listened to that one.
Oh, I bet you that was a hoot.
Nick Swartzen, comedian. I'm a fan of him.
Yeah.
All right. And so his second question. Have you guys ever thought about doing play-by-play for a game? I would definitely mute my TV and listen to you guys rather than these special announcers like Collinsworth and Gruden. Thanks for the great content. I just started the Pick'em League, so watch out for a nasty Naz. We'll catch you once the tear in the continuum is repaired and teams start acting right, like the Giants and Chiefs. WTF? From Jeremy.
That was a tough week for me too, Jeremy. Yeah, so no, I've never thought of... Well, I've thought about it in the sense of I've thought about doing play-by-play because I don't want to do play-by-play.
Yeah.
Like, in some ways, just the idea of doing the game recap shows is hard for me to want to get on board just directly after the game if we get to that point, because it does take away a little bit of your enjoyment through game day. But if you do like that idea of getting the thoughts of us and other hardcore Seahawks fans throughout the game instead of the announcers, get in the Ring of Honor. Like that's basically play-by-play throughout the game.
Right, and that's where we do make comments and jokes and throughout the game. But for us to do 3 hours during the actual game, that would take away from us, sitting and being fans during the game.
But I think we'd have a good format for it. Like I'd definitely be the Pat Summerall to your John Madden.
It would be like Mystery Science Theater version of watching football.
Yeah, it'd be a little like that, I think. That'd be a lot of fun.
Like, we wouldn't comment through the whole thing, but we'd maybe chime in once in a while.
Yeah.
Like when it's important. Maybe to make fun of the actual announcers.
There we go. That'd be the way to do it right there.
Yeah.
That's how, if we can figure out how to do that, now I'm in. If I can openly mock some people while I do it, then great. But not have to really carry the full load. That's perfect for me.
That would be the way to do it.
That's more or less how this podcast operates.
Well, thanks to Jeremy for sending those in. Bringing up the Pick'em League, too. It was a slightly predictable week, I think, because we had 17 people in the Seahawkers podcast group with 180 points this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I had 170.
So congrats to this week's winner. I like that name. Flock of Flockers. This one goes up to 12. You Know Nothing, John Ryan. Egg Rawls. And Your Picks Make Me Posick.
That's pretty good. Good names. Good job, people. I mean, almost good job. I'm mad at you that you got me by 10 points because that was a good week for me.
There were a lot of favorites as Ross and I ran through the pick show. If you just picked the favorites across the board, you're probably going to end up with 150, 160 points. I
would have had a perfect week if the freaking Rams had lost and the freaking Cardinals had lost. Of course, those two teams were the ones that knocked me out of having a perfect week. Screw you guys. Screw you guys.
Well, and you picked the Texans-Ravens wrong.
Well, it doesn't matter after those two teams lost. I didn't care anymore. Oh, and I hate the Ravens about as much anyway, so. How many points did you have last week, Brandon?
I think I was 160, so I was 10 points behind you.
Okay.
Because you got your risk pick and I didn't.
Right. Yeah.
We have, looking at the overall leaderboard, PBRU Sirius at 1650, Hawks Dozen 1630, the Blue and Green Mile at 1600, Ultras 1590, and rounding out the top 5, I'm from Germany and Sturjihad.
Perfect. I think you nailed it.
Nailed it. Well, coming up this week, we won't have to worry about risk picks, Adam, because Seahawks 25% user consensus.
Yeah, what kind of crap is that, man? Like, if you would have given me 60-40 Eagles, like, with the Seahawks being home and everything, like, I would have probably been like, okay, that makes sense.
65-35, maybe.
Yeah, with, East Coast team and the national bias and all that, I would have been fine with that. But 25%? Come on, man.
Well, they have only lost one game so far.
So far, it's going to be a real bummer for them when they're 10-2. A lot of people missing that pick this week.
I'm going to be rooting for the Cardinals to win, though, this week.
Why?
They play the Rams.
Yeah. I'm rooting for the Cardinals to win this week.
I mean, it's gross, but...
Oh, I just threw up. It burns, Brandon. It burns.
I can't root for the Rams to win.
I know. God. I don't know.
Cardinals are at home. Hey, they just beat Jacksonville. Maybe they get on a little bit of a hot streak.
Right. I know if the Cardinals lose, it definitely won't be Bruce's fault. That's for sure.
Oh. And a happy birthday to Flocktimus Prime this week.
Merry birthday, Flocktimus. I don't do Facebook birthdays. Like, I don't want anybody to give me happy birthdays on Facebook.
There's enough of that on Facebook.
Yeah, and I don't do it. I don't wish anybody a happy birthday. I hope nobody wishes me one. But in person, Merry birthday, Flocktimus Prime. You are a scholar and a gentleman.
Indeed. So Ed Essie in the Ring of Honor, he had a couple comments he was weighing in on. He wanted our thoughts on, he gives us his thoughts. First, on offensive coaching, he says it's not that the offensive coaching is terrible, it's that it's terrible at in-game decision-making, including play calling, clock management, and which running back to put in. Presumably, Bevel is great the other days of the year.
Hey, man, you got to give them a little credit that they make good halftime decisions. They always seem to come out and play better in the second half.
Right.
So, I mean, the in-game adjustments are pretty decent. Now, as far as choosing a running back, again, I have no words. I'm out. I can't do it anymore.
I think it's probably best to just, for you not to go there at this point.
It's not, I'm beyond, when your parent looks at you, I'm mad at you, or I'm disappointed in you, I'm not mad at you. They were mad and then they were disappointed. And then there's whatever this is. That's where I'm at now. Like, I'm not even mad and disappointed anymore. I'm mad appointed.
You're so mad you're making up words.
Exactly. I don't even know what to call it.
But that's right. There's been some questionable areas. We have what we have at this point.
Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. But did he write those after the Atlanta game? Those comments?
No, these were all recently from today.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or last night.
I thought the play calling was okay for the Niners game for the most part.
Yeah, except for the handing the ball off to Lacy on 3rd and short-ish.
They needed to see what he can do, Brandon.
And we saw it.
Because you couldn't just define that otherwise.
No.
I mean, I know I couldn't have.
And he does have a theory about the absent screen passes, saying that because Bobby and KJ locked down the screen passes so effectively that maybe the failing in practice is what keeps them from bothering.
That's next. That's next level thinking right there by Ed. Right. That's pretty cool. That's a solid theory, man.
I would think that there's probably a lot of plays that the defense does run well, but I feel like they would know. Yeah, we can't run it against ourselves, but you would think that it would give them ways of coming up with ways to scheme it better. Like, it was our defense bad at bubble screens.
Hey, that must be it. Although they seem to be good at it in games, so
right. So yeah, that kind of falls flat a little bit there. But
I don't know. I liked it. That was some Inception level thinking. I enjoyed that.
And finally, I think this is how a lot of us feel about the Seahawks. And there's people kind of down on them. And but I think Ed sums it up here. Says they're capable of losing to any team and also capable of beating any team. I absolutely believe that they can win the Super Bowl no matter who they play against. At the same time, they can pile up enough mistakes and miscues to drop a dud on any given Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, and that's their MO through the first 3 quarters of the season. Every season, they turn it on in the fourth quarter. And here it is, the fourth quarter, starting with the Eagles. And I'm with Ed. I tend to believe that they're going to get it done.
And Tim Moon makes an important point here. Says the last few years have tended to play to their competition instead of above it. In doing so, they dig themselves holes that they have to expend a lot of energy digging their way out of, which does not always prove successful. They have done that this year, both in games, Atlanta, and in the standings, 7-4. This hole will take a lot of energy for them to dig out of. They may not be able to earn a first-round bye and might not even win the division. They almost certainly will have to play playoff games on the road if the season does end before reaching the Super Bowl. The last thing I want to hear is that we dug too big of a hole for ourselves. It's getting tired and old. Stop digging holes for yourself and start using the shovel to bury opponents, please.
I like it. But we're going to save ourselves and get out of this hole by activating offensive lineman Willie Beavers for the rest of the season here. That's going to be the difference.
That's the key.
I know it. So hang in there, Tim. It's going to be okay. Willie Beavers is here to save the day.
Or at least give us a reason to have a few laughs on the way out.
Absolutely.
Let's talk some do better this week and better at life. What do you got for do better this week, Adam?
This has been teed up for me for about 2 to 3 days because Apple is in my crosshairs today in the iPhone. Here's the thing. I don't know how many times that I've gotten on this podcast and expressed exactly how I feel about emojis. I think we all know, right?
You've made it pretty clear.
If you were to put it in emoji form, it would not be just one poop emoji. It'd be all of them piled on top of one another. It's like a giant pile of poop emojis. That's how I feel about emojis. I think it's lazy. I hate doing it. Use your words. Come on. We're not freaking Egyptians. Use your words.
Or a
GIF. I'm fine with the GIF. Yeah. So, on the iPhone, like when you start typing, like it gives you 3 words above your keyboard where it tries to guess what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's always wrong. It's never the right guess. I don't know what it is. Like they can't seem, maybe I use weird words. I don't know, but it's never the right word. But now I have even fewer to choose from out of the ones that pop up above there because now it's starting to guess emojis for me. I'll type Jeep and I'll put a little Jeep up there. I'll start saying I'm happy or something and like a little happy face comes up. No, do not try to bait me into using emojis. Don't autocorrect me to an emoji. It did that the other day. The autocorrect pisses me off. I'll put in the right word. I'll spell it correctly. And it'll change it to something completely different. And now we'll do it with emojis. Apple, do better.
Well, don't try switching to an Android phone to get away from it, Adam, because it's the exact reason why I came back from Android, because the autocorrect on my old Samsung, it was dismal.
Really?
Well, it earned me a Karen jersey, for one. Which was the cool part of it.
Are you back to an iPhone?
I did. I moved back to iPhone.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah. My biggest problem with Samsung is I would type an actual word.
Yes.
And it would change it.
Yeah. The Apple one does that to me all the time.
Okay. Well, Apple doesn't it actually keeps the real words that I type as real words.
Oh, wow. Well, mine doesn't. It changes it to other words.
Well, maybe you need to be an Android guy. We need to find the autocorrects that are most compatible with our personality and texting.
They don't make an Android phone small enough to fit in a pocket. Like they're all the size of a giant tablet. Like who needs a phone that freaking big? When I go to buy a phone at the store, I walk in there like, hey, what are you looking for? What's the smallest freaking phone you have? I'm
surprised you aren't using a flip phone.
Well, the only reason I don't use a flip phone is with all of my travel for work, the smartphone is super handy for that. And it's the way I record the show when I travel.
Yeah, well, you're stuck with iPhone now because the Hawk mic is iPhone only.
Yeah. I saw, you know how at the gas station, like people will put up like a little sticker, like they donate, like to the food bank or whatever, and they write your name on there.
Right.
I saw one right next to the booth the other day, and it was Mike Hawk. And that made me laugh.
Our travel microphone donated?
Yeah. Mike Hawk did.
Yeah. I see when I do those, I put Seahawkers podcast on all of them.
Oh,
I would recommend to our listeners to do that too. If you're at the gas station and you donate $1 and you can write your name on.
Yeah.
Just put Seahawkers podcast on there.
Or just put Little Flocker.
I'm a little flocker.
Yeah.
I actually like that better.
Okay. What's your do better this week, Brandon?
Oh, well, I'm a little bit bummed last week at my Better at Life because now I regret it a little bit because I gave credit to the scientist, the non-believing in scientist.
Yeah.
That ended up not going up in his flat Earth research rocket.
Right. I just love that phrase.
Well, apparently he didn't have I guess he was launching from BLM land and he didn't get a permit for it. So he had to postpone it.
So I saw that story, Brandon, and I couldn't figure this out for the life of me. So number one, his launch pad is built off the back of an RV, right? So he can drive it around like a Scud missile.
So why not just go somewhere else?
Okay, A, go somewhere else. Or B, just drive somewhere around on BLM land and shoot it off anyways. What are they going to do? Take your birthday away? Right. What are they going to do to you when you come back down? You're such a rebel that you're building your own steam-powered rocket that you got the whole thing shut down because of a permit? Give me a break. Like, what do you if you would have parked it on the other side of the street and the only way to get there to your rocket was to jaywalk, would you have not done it? Because, oh my stars, you would have broken the law? I don't get it.
Well, he says he's moving it to private property now. Why didn't you do that in the first place?
Just shoot the damn rocket off. Get your ass in there and go. Like, who cares? Again,
yeah, like his research isn't going to be any less significant because he did it without a permit.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of mad at that. It was not my official do better. My official do better this week is for accused drone pilot Tracy Michael Mapes, who at the Seahawks he started out at the Seahawks-Niners game.
Okay.
Dropping leaflets over the stadium via drone. Part of the problem, though, well, one, you're not supposed to do that. But two, he didn't take into account the wind. And so they dropped the leaflets and none of them actually made it in the stadium. They just blew away.
What were they leaflets for? Like banana awareness or like what?
I guess they were anti-media.
Oh, okay.
And again, putting anti-media stuff on actual media.
Yeah.
But
nobody can find it because they all blew away.
Well, how did somebody not scan it and put it online? I don't know, but dude, that's the main thing here. Why are you dropping leaflets when there's the entire internet? You're flying over, dropping leaflets into the wind that don't even make it into the stadium. How is that your idea that's going to be more effective than just posting it online where there's millions of people that can read what you have to say versus dropping it via drone over a very poorly attended football game? Tracy Michael Mapes, do better, man.
This is the same guy that probably pisses upwind. I'm just going to say. It's probably about the same mentality.
He went upwind, and how he got caught is he went up the bay to the Oakland game to try and drop him there, and he was going to drop him off at that game too.
Wow. Just dropping information bombs on people with his drone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty idiotic.
It says they were criticizing television news media.
Yeah, we all know it's bad, dude. Like, I don't care if you watch Fox or MSNBC. They're all terrible. CNN, they're all terrible. All of them. I don't care what slant they have.
24 hours a day.
I want a radical middle news channel one of these days.
No, I think part of the reason why cable news is so good is because you have to find a guy who can argue against everything.
It can be a chick too. Although I think with all the sexual harassment stuff going around in the news industry, like we're going to be down to just ladies in the media. I think here in about 3 weeks, like it's just going to be all female broadcasters, and rightfully so. Like suss it all out. Like see you later.
Yeah, until it turns around and they start harassing all the dudes.
Yeah, you can't harass the willing, Brandon.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. because all of us guys would like a little more attention, that's for sure.
we're just saying we want a little more attention.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get on to the things that are actually better at life.
Okay.
My better at life than Skip Bayless this week, Brandon, is for researchers at the University of Colorado. They have cracked the code, man. This is going to solve arguments between couples all over the world.
They've cracked the code?
The code. There is now a scientifically correct way to put the roll of toilet paper on the spool.
No.
Because there's two ways to do it, right?
The right way and the wrong way.
Right. Well, now but there used to be a big debate where, either the toilet paper like goes closer to the wall and around the back, or the toilet paper comes around the front.
Right.
And I've always been a proponent of the front fall.
I think that's actually the way that it's listed in the patent.
Oh, see, I don't know that. But the University of Colorado did a research study on this, and it's scientifically proven that having the toilet paper go over is the correct way to do it. And the reason is this. If you hang the toilet paper using the under method, where it goes closer to the wall, there's a good chance that your hand is going to brush the wall when you go for a few of the squares, right? And this will cause you to like potentially leave bacteria on the wall, or pick up something that somebody that was there before left for you, especially in public bathrooms. With toilet paper over, you're less likely to make contact with the wall, therefore being more sanitary for you, less risk of getting sick, and clearly the more scientifically way to go. University of Colorado researchers, you are better at life than Skip Bayless.
Yeah, the 1891 patent has the roll facing that direction.
The only time that having toilet paper under, the roll go under, makes sense is if you exactly, you have a cat. That's the only reason.
Because then they can't unroll it.
That's exactly right.
It's cat proof.
Yep.
Stupid cats.
Always just screwing with us, man.
I can't wait until we have 30% of our audience write in going, I used to love you guys, but until you told me that my way of rolling the toilet paper was wrong,
stick to
and
sports.
I don't have cats, I'm not listening anymore.
Yeah, stick to sports.
Stay out of my bathroom.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. Those emails are coming.
They're coming.
Yep.
Just you wait.
Yeah.
My better at life this week, Russell Carrington Wilson.
Oh.
Coach Carroll made a comparison of Russell Wilson to Rocky Balboa. Famous from the Rocky movies, fighting Apollo in, Apollo Creed and Rocky 1 and 2, fighting Clubber Lang and Rocky 3, Ivan Drago in Rocky 4. And I don't think I saw Rocky 5, so I don't know who he fought in that one. But Russell Wilson, because he's so good at coming back, it doesn't start real quick, but he's there at the end to finish. Got the comparison to Rocky from Coach Carroll. I think this is a good thing for Russell.
Yeah,
because now he needs to go back and he needs to watch Rocky 3.
Okay.
Because Rocky 3, he actually changed his style of, just getting whooped through the first couple rounds.
Yeah.
To actually starting fast.
Oh, I see.
He got out. Go back and watch Rocky 3, the 2 fights against Clubber Lang. Now, he was doomed to lose that first one because he wouldn't even look Clubber in the eye.
Right.
But he came out swinging hard against Clubber Lang. He ultimately got whooped. But in the end, even the second time he fought Clubber Lang, got out to a fast start and ultimately finished. So I think Russell, he could learn a little something for Rocky.
Okay.
Now that the coach has made that comparison. But it's not just the comparison to Rocky that makes him my better at life this week. It's the opportunity that he has these next couple of weeks of the season for an MVP type season. He's currently there was an article posted on ESPN this week about how Russell Wilson and Carson Wentz are comparing in the MVP race, and right now they're both behind Tom Brady, Genghis Tom, but they are in the conversation. Carson Wentz getting a little bit more run this time of year, I think, just based off of the Eagles' record right now being 10-1. One key thing that they point to, though, Carson Wentz's accuracy. It's down around 60%. It's 29th in the league. And I don't know if you can have an MVP who's that far down in terms of their completion percentage. So Russell Wilson, he has an opportunity here. And I think based on what we saw against the 49ers, he makes magic happen on the field. We've talked about this plenty. But now with the fact that just a few games left in the season, 5 games left on the schedule, and the fact that they play the Eagles and part of Sunday Night Football, they're going to play the Jaguars, who have been having a good season, another solid defense. And because they have the Rams coming up, Russell Wilson has an opportunity now to make an MVP run, get this team in the playoffs. And so for that, Russell Wilson on his way, hopefully his first MVP, better at life than Skip Bayless.
Yeah, this is probably Russell's best shot to win the MVP in his career thus far, mainly because everybody just said, well, it's Marshawn Lynch in the defense. And we're now clearly over the this last year, the whole offense runs through Russell Wilson, and it's clear. I mean, he's keeping them afloat single-handedly. So if he can get into the playoffs, make a strong showing, and beat Carson Wentz along the way, I think it really bolsters his candidacy for MVP, no doubt.
Especially with Richard Sherman being out, Cam Chancellor out. It's not the full Legion of Boom anymore. So I think that adds to the fact if they put together a strong run down the stretch.
You're telling me they don't have a full Legion of Boom and they don't have Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson's still good?
I mean, we'll see.
I was told that wasn't possible.
It may not be. I mean, the Seahawks are doomed. They're going to lose their next 5 games and finish outside the playoffs.
Zombie Seahawks
go 7-9, right?
Yeah.
No, that's why I'm getting out in front of this and already anointing Russell as the MVP, because he needs to show us.
You heard it here first, folks. Brandon Schultz. He wanted to crown him, so crown him.
Russell Wilson is who I thought he was.
So better at life than Skip Bayless.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, okay.
He's always better at life than Skip Bayless.
I thought maybe Coach Carroll was going to go with some players off another team that he compared to Rocky, like either Crabtree or Talib.
Yeah, those two. Those were.
That was awesome. Those two had to fight, man.
Yeah, they needed to.
Yep, that's been
I don't know.
for years.
I don't know why Talib. I don't know why they constantly fight over jewelry, though.
Well, here's the dumbest thing in the world to me about Michael Crabtree. So, last time Talib jerks the chain off of his neck, right? And he gets he grabbed his chain during this fight too, as well.
After Crabtree taped it to his skin.
That's
apparently.
what I'm saying. He had to. You taped it down. You taped it to your chest rather than just taking it the hell off.
No, you tape it down to kind of taunt him a little bit.
So weird.
Trying to get Talib worked up.
But I tell you what, in a month when both the Raiders and the Broncos seasons are over because they've missed the playoffs, I would definitely pay-per-view Talib versus Crabtree. I'm buying that fight.
You'd buy that fight?
I'd buy that fight.
I don't know if I'd fight Talib, though.
No, he's gonna shank you in the middle of it. The dirtiest dude ever.
Didn't Talib shoot himself?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to fight anybody that shoots themselves.
Nope. It's not hard to not shoot yourself. It's really not.
I've shot guns plenty of times. Never once have I been shot.
It's not difficult.
I know which way not to point the gun.
Right.
That's a pretty critical part of gun shooting.
Yeah.
Know where not to point it.
They'll have bullets in it until you're ready to shoot like a target.
I worry about dudes that shoot themselves.
You got to be special to shoot yourself. Him and Plaxico Burress.
Yeah, maybe those guys should have been my better at life this week.
There you go.
You got to be special to be shooting yourself.
Yeah. You know who's better at life this week, though, Brandon? Me and you, for getting through this pod. We did it earlier in the morning than we usually do. That's a struggle for me.
That was a struggle.
I'm not a morning person. I think they're aptly titled. They're a state of mourning. This was hard, but we did it, man. We powered through.
We did it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think we do deserve congratulations for this week.
I just wanted to congratulate us.
We haven't been giving ourselves enough credit lately.
Clearly. Yeah.
And
because we're awesome. And I think with that there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Where's the Panthers week 7?
I don't know what week it was. I know they played the Panthers. You doing okay with the weeks? Nobody cares about what week it was, man. It's just they played the
Doesn't
Panthers.
matter.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Etta?
I hear something scary in the playroom.
I have to go look at the playroom real quick because she
okay.
heard something scary.
Okay.
But Russell, oh my gosh, struggling this week.
I hear you.
Why is it so early?
You know what else is not the best look? When you choke on your water for no reason.
I do that all the time. My wife constantly makes fun of me for choking on my water.
Therefore, being more sanitary.
Sanitary?